Hello, it's the cousin, and I'm here for another beer tasting video.
I get a kick out of brew.
Yeah, that intro was exclusively for Griffo, who's in Australia right now. Here's the picture he literally just sent me. And if that doesn't look like paradise, I don't know what does. But anyway, we are doing another BREWDOG beer. And this is episode 9 of the BREWDOG Series 5. And I didn't know that this beer was even in the selection J.Ashley Spencer gave to me. So when I did these beers, I thought there were 8 BREWDOG ones and then 5 non-BREWDOG ones, which we'll do later. So I was getting ready to do a season recap for season 5, and then I looked in the bag and realized there was one more BREWDOG. So that one BREWDOG is none other than BREWDOG Cold Beer Lager. And I mean, if that doesn't look like an old school beer, I really don't know what does. And it's quite hard for me to do this video because Joe is currently in the BREWDOG bar in Waterloo without me. So that is why I done this. You want to know how real this beef has got? Ba-dum! No, I did resubscribe. I'm not that petty. A bit hurt, but not that petty. But yeah, this is Saturday night. The last time I did a beer was it the Christmas one on Wednesday? So yeah, it's been a couple of days, and there's probably going to be a gap now between when that was uploaded and this was uploaded, like a day in between. But let's just and get on with. So we have BREWDOG Cold Beer, and I knew this one was one of the beers Joe did. I didn't realize he gave me one, and I'm quite glad he did because I really like the design of this. Like, I just like it. I mean, it's only 3.4%, so it's a pretty light beer, but it just says best served ice cold. And as simple as that is, it looks really American as well. Just a cold beer lager. I love it. I'm giving its design a 5, and I know you might be thinking, well, it's not the best design. I mean, compare it to I've got all the beers down here ready for the recap, which I'll record after this, but compare it to that. 2 very different things going on here, but I just love that sort of old school, I don't know, 1960s, 70s, maybe even 50s look. It really reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the film Gran Torino. It's a film with Clint Eastwood where he's a retired Vietnam War veteran and he just sits in his porch drinking cold beers. And this just gives off that vibe, like an old school American, 90s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s sort of thing. Very minimum decoration, like white background. Obviously it's got BREWDOG in blue here and bright red here, and then it just says cold beer, and it's even got the star there. It just looks like a cheap but nostalgic. I think nostalgia is the thing they went for here, even though I was definitely not around in those times. But I'm going to give you guys a nice 360 of this cold beer. BREWDOG Cold Beer. Best served ice cold. I mean, you could probably trick someone into thinking this was around in, like, this is a vintage sort of can. But yeah, I'm giving it a 5 on design because I really do like that. It's 3.4, so I'm not expecting it to be a heavy one. And I did keep this in the freezer for a little bit, so it is nice and cold, like really cold, as it should be. I have to admit, after doing, what was the really strong one we did? I think it was the one I just showed you guys, the tropical one, and the hoppy one, and some of the other BrewDog ones I've done, which are in the like 7 to 8%. This tastes very weak. It almost tastes like water with a bit of flavour. In fact, it tastes like shandy, but it does have a nice little aftertaste. That tastes insanely light. Almost on the same level as some of the alcohol-free beers. I really want to like this as well, but it is so weak. So weak. Very refreshing though. This is something you could have on a summer's day after a long day at work in that really hot, sort of sweaty sort of job. You just think, oh man, just get me a cold beer. This is one of those. And then you could still be pretty sober afterwards. Well, completely sober. I don't know, that it's got a little bit of an aftertaste, but when you first drink it, it's honestly like drinking water, and I'm not exaggerating there. I usually don't say that much about beers, but that, I think that is the lightest drink I've ever had. And I went for a phase where I was drinking Bud Light and Coors Light. Joe will tell you. But I mean, it is a cold beer. It does taste like a cold beer and obviously a lager. But I just can't get over how light, and it tastes like shandy without the fizz or sweetness. I want to like this. I'm going to give it a 3. And I think that's me being generous, but I don't want to dislike this beer because I just love the look of it. And it doesn't taste bad. It's just, you know, BrewDogs are pretty heavy, hard-hitting drinks most of the time with lots of flavour to them, quite strong. So this is quite underwhelming. I just realised this goes really well with the t-shirt I'm wearing, if you made the blue on this one lighter. But I think the only one which also lacked taste was Wingman alcohol free. That one really did have no taste. I definitely prefer this one, so I think I'm going to give its overall a 3, just because it's very underwhelming. It's not a bad beer. I feel like you could enjoy this if you're thirsty. I'd say it tastes kind of like flavoured water. It's got a little bit of flavour more towards the end, but the first part where you drink it, it is like drinking water, cold water. It does say cold beer. It is a cold beer, but then again, you have to make it cold. You can make any beer cold by putting it in the freezer for a bit, not for a long time, or in a bucket of ice, or just in the fridge. So yeah, it's not that it tastes bad, it's just very underwhelming, and it's got a really good design. I feel like that taste it had with a bit more of a punch would have made it at least a 4. But you know, I guess if it is a really, really hot and sweaty day at work and you just, you know, want to crack open a cold one, I mean, why not? But other than that, if you're really into beers because of their exotic tastes, which these BrewDog ones are known for, I don't know if I can recommend this one. But there you have it. This has been The Cousin. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share, and all that other shit. And I will see you in the recap.